If anyone had any doubts that Trump will be anything but a shit show, we'll cast them aside.
Changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name.
Now that's funny because the whole world refers to the Gulf under its current name. And Trump can call it whatever he wants, but that won't change what it is. It's like when Trump was a fat little boy and his mom bought him pants that were called Husky, which was and is a nice way of saying you're fat, Donnie.
It's not fair.
But we're just getting started.
Let's start, if we could, with your references to Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold a vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you, you're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this, we need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that you'll have to do something. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. China. And we gave the Panama Canal to Panama. We didn't give it to China. And they've abused it. They've abused that gift. It should have never been made, by the way. Giving the Panama Canal is why Jimmy Carter lost the election, in my opinion, more so maybe than the hostages. The hostages were a big deal. But if you remember, and nobody wants to talk about the Panama Canal now because, you know, it's inappropriate, I guess, but because it's a bad part of the Carter legacy. But he was a good man. Look, he was a good man. I knew him a little bit, and he was a very fine person, but that was a big mistake. Giving the Panama Canal to Panama was a very big mistake. We lost 38,000 people. It cost us the equivalent of $1 trillion, maybe more than that. Probably the most expensive, they say it was the most expensive structure, if we call it a structure, which I guess you can, ever built. And giving that away was a horrible thing. And I believe that's why Jimmy Carter lost the election, even more so than the hostages. Those two things.
Now, there's two ways to go with this. One is in Trump's mentally declining mind, and the other is in the real world. First, Trump's brain.
It's alive!
Well, technically, maybe, but Trump's talking about taking back the Panama Canal and invading Greenland sounds like a couple of stoners talking about starting a business. It sounds cool because you're high, but it will never happen because...
But then I got high.
You're high. But imagine just for a second, Trump fulfills the campaign promises he's made. On day one, he's going to pardon the January 6th insurrectionists. And before you Trump sock puppets get all excited, insurrection isn't my word.
We're here. We saw what happened. It was a violent insurrection.
Okay, so Trump pardons these people the same day he's going to start deporting 12 million undocumented workers and their kids who are U.S. citizens. How will that work and who will do it? If Trump somehow hired enough law enforcement to track these people down, which should be easy as the vast majority you can find at work making America great, pardon the pun, how long would it take? Well, if they could get 1,000 people a day, it would take 36 years to round up 12 million. And then, of course, you have court hearings and federal rulings on the 14th Amendment. And then, of course, the social upheaval of arresting people without probable cause. Again, a 14th Amendment issue. And you can see what a fustercluck this thing is.
America is for Americans and Americans only.
Tiny Finger's declining mental acuity hasn't factored in any of this. So what will really happen? ICE is going to arrest a few hundred undocumented and claim their MS-15, send them on their way, then lie about border crossings and claim the problem is solved, which he needs to do quick because we're going to war with Greenland and Panama. Okay, so Trump wants the Panama Canal back. I hope he understands that we can't actually move it up to Texas and name it after some Confederate general.
The statement of Robert E. Lee, who's no longer in favor, did you ever notice that? No longer in favor. Never fight uphill, me boys, never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow. Very fine people on both sides.
So in Fat Donnie's head, we can just say the canal is ours and they'll give it to us. Or we can take a few thousand soldiers and invade their country like, wait, I know, who else does that? Oh, yeah.
President Putin claiming his troops are gaining ground every day.
And of course, there's the Battle of Greenland. Now, Greenland isn't green. It's a big patch of ice. And Iceland, it's beautiful, but we're invading Greenland. You don't think they named him like that just to f with Donnie, do you?
Elon!
He can't help you, Donnie, although he could pay for it. No, we're not going to invade Greenland, although if we decided to invade Panama and Greenland.
The propaganda from the other side saying that what you're doing is not compassionate, that it's not humanitarian.
We could send the 12 million deportees there and wrap up 3 problems into one. And then there's this.
You're going to pardon January 6th defendants. Are you planning to pardon those who were charged with violent offenses?
Well, we're looking at it, and we have other people in there. And as you see, I guess 24 or 28 people came now from the FBI. That came out very quietly. Nobody reported it, but they had people in some form related to the FBI. They had 4 or 5 people that were strongly related to the FBI. We have to find out about that. We have to find out about Hezbollah. We have to find out about who exactly was in that whole thing, because people that did some bad things were not prosecuted. You know, I see it all the time, and you see it too. People that were doing some bad things weren't prosecuted, and people that didn't even walk into the building are in jail right now. So we'll be looking at the whole thing, but I'll be making major pardons. Yes, please.
Now, if Trump is going to pardon the January 6th insurrectionists, but the insurrectionists are a combination of Antifa, Black Lives Matter, the FBI, and Hezbollah, how will that go down with his knucklehead hillbilly base?
Obama is playing Sleepy Joe Biden in a mask.
I don't think she'll know the difference, but let's just assume that all of Trump's campaign promises are real and add into that the no taxes on Social Security and overtime, and you got to ask, how's he going to pay for all this? The deportation alone will cost $1 trillion, and if you fire everyone in the FBI like this hump wants to...
I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day 1 and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state.
Well, who's going to find the undocumented?
And, you know, it's going to lead to great things. A lot of people don't give. I know a lot about overtime. I'd hated to give overtime. I hated it. I'd get other people, I shouldn't say this, but I'd get other people in, I wouldn't pay. I hated it.
And the taxes on Social Security and overtime, if Trump drops them over 10 years, that's $1 trillion. Add them up, it's real money.
Christmas to YouTube and all you poor fuckers out there, you know. And we're going to show... That's pan down. Move a little, move. That's what Christmas is supposed to look like, you poor.
The world spinning inside the First Lady's head is surreal, and it's not getting stronger. So here's the conclusion. We're not invading Panama, we're not stealing Greenland, and we're not deporting 12 million people.
The Gulf of America.
And Trump can call it Gulf of America, but so sorry, senor, es el Golfo de Mexico, tonte hijo de puta. Look it up, bitch.
Goddamn right. Use my words against me and you'd be absolutely right.
That is crazy. They're eating the dogs.
You're an idiot!
Trust me.
Shut the f*** up, Darren.
Who's with me? Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes!
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.